Things seem to have nicely stabilized. We've managed to crank through all of the research that we were looking to try to get done, and I've managed to build a couple of other little things. Hello, everybody. This is Frogman. Welcome back to Captain of Industry. I'm going to just go ahead and finish up a couple of these really quick ones here before we get into the last little bit of the research lab too, because once we get to this point, we've got a whole lot of things we're going to have to make, and I'm probably going to end up redoing quite a few of our little processes to start, at least. So, in the end of the last episode, we were working on getting oil going. I've added a secondary set in here for now. We are filling up tanks, and I'm probably going to maybe just leave this one to go wherever it needs to go. We're still having a little bit of an issue, I think, of things moving around, but at least we're doing what we're supposed to be doing here. I did mention that I needed to put cooling towers down, so we now have 2 cooling towers running off of these high pressure turbines. So basically they're taking their 24, low steam, meaning low pressure steam, turning that into 12 water and then feeding that back into the system. Again, we're using a pipe balancer, and we're just making sure that that water gets used up and put into either one of these 2 boilers before things happen. Now, you're supposed to be prioritizing this. Why are you still burning, my friend? Okay, I think we're good there. So I did, kind of realize that since we're over here obviously wasting a fuel, at least a fuel here, that we can kind of knock off on the coal usage over here a little bit if we so felt. So I went ahead and put one of these boilers over here, and it is capable of slowly eating through some of this stuff. I suppose what I probably should do is do this, because all it's doing is burning off excess stuff at this point. But the problem is when we're mixing the 2 types of fluids in here, so like this will go in and then come back out into here, this will change between the various fluid types, and because we have a decently long pipe over here, this can take a little bit of time to get over here. So it is kind of one of those things that is a problem, and the only real fix to that is the understanding that certain pipes, especially pipes and conveyors, all have a transport speed or tiles per second, regardless of how much they can actually transport. So like this one has a maximum of 60 units, I'm assuming, per minute, it's 60 units, and it can transport that amount of stuff over 2 tiles per second. So if I look at the, one of these other bigger pipes, so this is a 200 pipe, it's 3 tiles per second. So if you need a little bit more throughput speed, time through whatever, then you need to use larger pipes, which is not the greatest thing in the world because these get a little expensive after a while, but we shall see how this all goes. Now, I am going to leave this sitting here like this, and I'm going to leave this sitting here like so. So it should be able to continuously just get rid of excess stuff, and we're going to keep an eye on this, because all that flare is doing at this point is wasting usable fuel. Now, that usable fuel can, again, be turned into electricity. So it's going to take some time, like I said, to get over here, and it has to kind of switch between the 2 fuels, basically because it has to go between this fuel and that fuel, which end up in either here or over there, so it doesn't really matter. We're just going to try to burn off this stuff by making some power instead of continuously burning coal, even though we're going to be burning coal because, again, like I said, it's a kind of a minute amount. And the only real way to make that work really well is to separate this or this into separate lines and then bring them all the way over here and plug them into another pipe balancer that would then take care of this problem. So the pipes are a little wonky. They work well. It's just that they are definitely a little wonky, and they take a while to get from point A to point B. So like this says it has X amount of stuff in it right now. It's got 4 whatever in it, but it's just kind of sitting there taking its time trying to get a little bit more in it. So it's fine. It works. It's not a big problem. So we'll just kind of go from there. Now, I did, again, like I stated, we did go ahead and move the ship over to heavy oil. So again, this is a waste product for us. I have no problems putting it in the ship so that it can go get oil for us to do whatever. We have also moved the rubber over this location here, and we've chosen the next recipe, which is using sulfur. Now, there's another one of those things. You get sulfur, you can do a couple of things. This does not have any wastewater, which is nice. That's one of the biggest points about doing this. You're still getting double the amount of usage for fuel, but you're going to be able to, instead of using leaving out wastewater and coal, we're now using something that we're going to be, well, probably here pretty soon, throwing away once again. Matter of fact, I'm going to go do, we're going to do that, I think right there. Go ahead and build it. And then you can do a connector. We're fighting with things here very quickly just because of how this is all going to end up working. So that should start pumping that in here. Yes, good. So I want to delete this one from here to there. And I'm going to turn this belt around. And we're going to then take this belt, this little thing, and stick it into... You know, can you just make a nice square? It'd be really nice to just make a nice square. Thank you very much. Do it. All right, so then this will pump that into there. This will pump this into here. And then we can go from there. Yay, all the fun things. Now, we are also running into a little bit of an issue here. We're kind of getting full up on ammonia. Ammonia I'm not trying to throw away right now because it is incredibly useful for what we're going to be doing. So going forward, there's going to be 2 projects we're going to be working on here, hopefully today. One of which is going to be fertilizer for our brand new farms that are over here chilling out, and one of which is going to be this mess. So we'll look at this in just a second. I'm still kind of trying to figure out how I want to do things. I'm working off of a blueprint that I took off of one of my other worlds, and we don't have some of the stuff that it needs. So like there's supposed to be an exhaust scrubber right here, and these are technically supposed to be the next layer of blast furnaces, but I'm kind of just stealing things and ideas and just how it goes. One of the cool things, again, like always, is if you do want to blueprint something. So like say we decide when we get all of this done that we like the way this looks, we can hit an F4 and we can hit new, and I can say maybe I like all of that. Let's see if I can get all of it. I don't think it'll grab the housing. Cool. And so now we have a blueprint too that we can then rename to show whatever we want to. And if we want to place it, I can now move this wherever I want to. So once we get a little bit more of the oil going and a few of the other things going. So I was going to steal the oil off of one of my other worlds, but then I realized exactly how crazy my oil was because, well, when you're used to playing on the other maps are legitimately like, say, from this corner to like here and then about to maybe right there and then back over and you're down. You're kind of playing with a not very big area compared to this one. This one we should be able to at least spread out and make some of this stuff look reasonably pretty. How are my coal workers doing? They're doing a great job. Good. I modified them. I'm having to keep an eye on their particular digging because I want to find the bottom of this coal patch before we stop. So we need to keep going a little bit further. Thank you very much. Good. Keep going at it, fellas. We're doing good over here and we're doing good over there. We're continuously expanding this out. So I was talking about maybe getting some of that stuff going today. We'll see how that all goes, depending on how this goes. Anyhow, all the way around the world. So like I said, we're kind of sitting here messing with some of this kind of stuff. So essentially what we're going to do with this when it's time to turn it on is I will just pick parts of it. So in reality, these blast furnaces do not have the ability to run come on brain, think. We don't have the ability to be able to run the recipe through these metal casters into, I believe it's the copper electrolysis at this point. This will be able to produce 24. We'll be able to split that into 12, but these electrolysis machines are good for 24 each. So in reality, we're going to be a little bit off here. Now, when we do jump that up into the next level of blast furnace and next level of a lot of this stuff, we'll be able to do a little bit more fun. So what I'll probably end up doing is I'll probably end up at least like ripping out partial pieces here. So like we might get rid of, like, say this. I'll just put this guy over here so I don't lose it. And this, so I don't lose it just for now. And then we'll do something like this where then I'll then drag the output of that back into here so that it can do the work. And then when it comes time to upgrade everything, we can then just, well, like grab these and put them back where they belong and have them get built. So that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of fiddling around with it. I'm not 100% certain I like the placing of it is, but at least we now have a nice big area to play with as far as trying to build other cool stuff. So anyhow, I need to, while we are sitting here looking at things, get rid of that because it's not necessary. I'm also kind of laying out some of the where I think streets are going to be, and by mean streets, it's like literally just stuff I'm not trying to build in. I understand this is a little wide, and that might mean that we move this forward another spec or two, but I don't have a problem with it being, I forget how many tiles wide this is. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it's about 10 tiles wide. That it could get a little smaller than that. We could like maybe shrink that down a couple of tiles and maybe push this in over here a little bit, which we might do. I don't know yet. For right now, I'm going to leave this alone. Like I said, we're going to be doubling up on a lot of this. This is all going to get changed. I'm going to be moving a lot of this stuff out of here into the area here, and we're going to start working on building a bus-based style idea because it is functional with this game to build a bus. It looks a little awkward and a little weird because everything is stacked on top of each other, but it does work. You just have to kind of plan for it. And part of the reason why I'm planning this to be this wide is because, well, once you get to about, I think it's level 3, certain vehicles can't pass under the stuff, so then you build another thing to the next of it and another thing to the next of it, and you just kind of keep crawling sideways. So and we're also going to have to move like all of this, so once we're done there and move a couple of more things and start a couple of things elsewise, we should be good. But we have new things once again snowballing against us. We need to go ahead and use up both the fluid storages for the ammonia and the sulfur. So what I am going to do with that whole mess is we're going to start collecting another resource that we're not currently collecting. So fertilizer in here, if we're messing around with our irrigated farms, we can increase the soil fertility in here if I grab the little dial and I move it sideways. Now, right now, we're just running regular natural replenishment and we're rotating crops, which means we don't need a massive amount of fertilizer to make things work. What I would like to be able to do is run these things at 100%. At bare minimum, run them at 100% because they would pretty much double what their output is. So it's pretty amazing what you can do with a little bit of fertilizer. And fertilizer, for the most part, is a trash product. So we're just going to use it. First thing we are going to do is there's a thing we're not currently using. I do love how they'll like drive here and out and around and all over the place to try to get things done. It just, part of the reason why there are truck management things in here, like where are we? These right here, these barriers, is so I can keep them out of that area if you want to. I'm not really concerned about it right now, but we are going to get to a point where we're going to be starting to lock them out of certain places because like, they drive way over there and come down to here, way up on top of this mountain. It takes twice as long because they have to go all the way up there, then go around here. They were doing it a while back, and we'll have to do it again. When they were filling this section up here, they were driving around that. So they were driving straight down here, around that tower, and then kind of around all over the place. I mean, why not draw a straight line from here to here? They draw it to there, turn corner, turn corner. I mean, they're going over there. Why is there not a straight line between here and there? I don't know. It's not my game. I'm not the designer. Anyhow, the thing that we need to get picked up, the thing that we are not currently building and had forgotten to build on, is we need to look at waste collection, biomass collection. So I think we will, for now, it's going to go... Let me see. I don't want to put it here. We'll put it right there for now. That will probably irritate the heck out of them. That's perfectly fine. Biomass collection is going to be the start of us doing a little bit of, well, recycling. As I stated last time, we're going to have to start looking at doing recycling because we need to start... Where is all my stuff at? Oh, right. I was telling these to fill this up. You can go take care of our oil rig for us. Yes, please. Go ahead. Send the ship to deliver it. Why can't I not send ship? Where is ship? Hey, ship. Where are you? Why are you not here? Hey, homeboy. What? No, go home. I don't know what you're doing there. We're going to go ahead and throw some stuff in here to upgrade this to make it an oil rig, I think number 5 or 6. I forget what it is exactly. But why in the world are we not working very well here? Oh, right, because we're out of copper. Well, that's always fun. Let's get this going, and then we're going to kind of go forward with some of this other stuff. It'll take a couple of seconds for it to work, but it's fine. So let's see. We're going to do a little process over here where we're going to take some biomass, and we're going to turn biomass into compost. So you take biomass, you turn it into compost. If you take compost and you mix it with a little bit of water, I believe, right here, you can turn that into organic fertilizer, or you can mix it with a little bit of dirt and make even more organic fertilizer. This is just a kind of a thing that I'm going to do right now because it makes sense to try to get a little bit more fertilizer out of things. Because if I take that organic fertilizer, I mix it with a little bit of ammonia and some oxygen, I can get my fertilizer 1. Now, this same recipe exists as we see here, but if you add a little bit of organic fertilizer to the same amount, you get a decent amount more fertilizer. So then what we do is we take that fertilizer, we mix that with a little bit of limestone, a little bit of sulfur, and we get a fertilizer 2, which is the best fertilizer we can get, which will definitely help our crops grow. And the reason why I'm so excited about it is because it's getting rid of 2 things. It's getting rid of sulfur and it's getting rid of compost. Now, we can make compost from many different things, as we saw, especially if we end up making too much food. So let's go ahead and get that done. Hopefully they can get that built without having too much of an issue. So I need a mixer. Single mixer. You're going to just get plugged straight into that. And you are going to get told to be compost out of biomass. Later on, we'll be making biomass out of or compost out of quite a few little things here. So we'll see how this all goes. You go ahead and get done. Wow, I cannot figure out what the heck. We're going to have to probably start thinking about making this copper work a little better, huh? All right, well, let's have at it there, fellas. Do boop, 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 make stuff for now. We just need parts. That's all we need. Can I buy copper? No. Yes, I can. That's not a good trade. I need that stuff. We need... We can't even do any of that. We need to go... Actually, what I need to go do is when you get done with this, load that. And then I'm going to have you go explore a little bit. Maybe we go bother some of these little people that are out here, or maybe we go see what we can't do. Although, did I ever put anything on you? I don't think we have guns on that thing yet. We may have to put some guns on it before we get too excited. But yeah, we may go do a little bit more exploration for right now. But anyhow... yeah, we're just going to wait on that to get built. I suppose while we're waiting on that to get built, we can do the next step. So the next step is going to be, that is going to get contained in a storage, a loose storage short. And yeah, I think I don't care about whether or not they're driving around it, so that's fine. You do that. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to start playing with the next step, which is we need to be able to do the first layer of fertilizer. So fertilizer, we need this layer here. So that means we need a chemical plant that is going to be taking ammonia and oxygen and turning that into this. Now, it'll be able to do that no matter what, so that's no big deal. But we are going to build these over here, I think. How do I want... I'm going to kind of put it kind of out of the way. Maybe we put it right here. I want this first, then that. And then you're going to have to get flipped. Probably like that. Sure. So that means we have to deliver an air separator. Flipped. I like that, I think. We'll make sure we have enough room for 3. You can get your thing on it here for the smokestack for the nitrogen that we're not going to use, which is odd because if you pump nitrogen in the ground, that's a fertilizer too, but okay, it's fine. I get it. And so then we're going to need that fertilizer made. That fertilizer is made in a mixer with water, so we need another mixer. Can I just borrow you? that. Whoop, too far. So we're going to drop you down right about there. And set the recipe for not that, but I'd really like to haul the dirt in, but we're not getting enough dirt to make a difference, so we're going to do this. Now, again, this is not, we're not expecting a lot of this fertilizer. I just want some of it because it will help to get rid of extra stuff, and it will also help us to make a little bit more goodies. So you can go into there, and then we'll grab one of these. And I copy that, please. Thank you. You're going to get placed here. That's almost in line. I guess we could line it up with that water tank, so let's just put it right there. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's trying to get around a couple of things. I don't like this. Move it over. No, Control X, move it over. 1. Wow, I didn't want to take the whole pipe. I wanted to copy it. I get a little bit of slap happy copying things sometimes, so that does end up being a deal. Okay, so then we need water from here. We'll just grab the water from right there. I think we can do that. Sure. And then that, once it gets its stuff, will be received right here in a... We're still going to be doing a reasonable amount of trucking, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. You go right there. Will you work? No, I have a thing in the way. Can I get rid of the thing in the way? Probably. Can I? I did it again. How did I? No, that's a different thing. Control C, copy, drop down to here. Finish, and then delete it. That gets the thing out of the way. Loose storage. You're going to contain... compost, keep full. Is the thing built yet? No, we're just having a good time eating up on this. But we should be all right once we get a couple other things going. Come on, guys, make some copper for us so we can build the rest of this. We're going to be tearing into that very soon. I'm just going to have to keep an eye on my Unity because we're slowly creeping down. Anyhow. There we go. That should do at least to the first layer of the stuff. Then we need another mixer, I believe, with some goodie put into it. So we're going to flip this and place it. Can I get the tank to where the tank's going to be kind of nice? So you can go there, and then we're going to say your recipe is this. And remove that one. I don't want you. Okay, so then we're going to take some of the fertilizer one, mix it with a little bit of limestone, a little bit of sulfur, and that will give us 36 fertilizer too, which will help our plants grow a decent amount. So another fluid storage, and these guys are really going to get mad at me because they're going to have to drive around all of this. I don't care. We're going to start making channels and long drivable roads in this. Anyhow, so then we need a loose storage. So we'll do a loose storage like so, and loose belts, go in, you're going to be build, and you need to be limestone, keep full, and you are sulfur, keep full, because we need to start eating up some of that sulfur, and this will definitely eat it up, trust me. All right, so we should... Are we starting to make things? Good. All right, so we can unpause a few things. You unpause that. And I did not manage to get those connected. How good am I, right? Wonderful. Put one of those right there. Build it. All right, so we're going to get a little bit of biomass slowly coming off of our people. Now, essentially what that is it's the leftovers of the food that they eat. So we're taking some of the food that they eat and turning it into fertilizer that we can then feed them food so that they can make us more fertilizer so they can, do one of those kinds of cycles. It's kind of fun. Almost there. Waiting on an output, I believe. How much have we got? 11. So the more people we have, the more biomass we'll make. Again, this is just as an augmentation, which means every time we take some of this compost and turn it into whatever we're going to turn it into, we can then do other things with it. So we're going to keep that empty. One thing, like I said, you can do with, or I don't know if I told you guys that, you can do with compost, if you have an excess amount of things and you're looking for dirt and you're not wanting to dig dirt up, is you can dump compost on the ground and it will turn into dirt, which is kind of nice. Anyhow, I guess we unpause all of that and see what happens. I believe the truck with our parts is heading this way. Where are you, my friend? That must be that guy right there. Nope, it's somebody else entirely. I know we had 4 parts coming. That must be that guy right there. All right, cool. So that should finish out the rest of this mess. And then we're going to get a chemical plant going. This should then spin up, as we see, and we should be able to make some stuff now. So I don't know if we've managed to get a little bit of biomass, or at least a little bit of compost going. Again, I can make that a lot better once we get a little, say, like we get a little bit of an excess of one of the 2 things coming off of here. We can compost them a little bit more and add that to the mess. Now, it's not a massive, amazing thing, but like with this, it's still. You take the same amount of nitrogen, the same amount of ammonia, same amount of ammonia, same amount of oxygen. I'm still on the fence of this. It's nitric oxide or whatever the hell probably that's what that is, isn't it? Could be. I don't know. Anyhow, and you're just adding a little bit more to it for the cost of some water and some food or some leftover scrap. So it's worth to try to do that, because at least then you can use that once in a while in here to do the work. But there we go. Now we're getting that in here. I need to go ahead and finish that because I didn't finish that. That's fine. So you'll be able to blow that out of there. Output shouldn't be full. Well, it's full because this is full. Nice. Good. Okay. Fill back up. Very good. Okay. So this will slowly over time produce a reasonable amount of fertilizer. And because we're only really running a couple of things right now, it won't matter too much. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab us a pipe somewhere. I guess we'll take that one. And we're going to hook it to right there. Straight up in the air until it is underneath this. Please don't connect. Thank you. And we're going to run it that way. Under to there. And then connect it to that pipe right there. Beautiful. You do the same thing this way, all the way to the end. Please stay under the other one. And I'm going to just go right past it to about there. And again, there. That should have put it the right direction. It might have. I hate how you can't hardly see this. Yeah, okay, there's the arrow. It's kind of hard to see the arrow sometimes when they're grayed out like this. There you go. And then there you go. And build. And build. And build. I know I can push the button. And build. Get out of the way. We'll use the build button. There's the build button. Go. And go. And go. And I'm going to put an extra one out here because we are eventually going to probably have another batch of those this direction. But I'm likely going to give them a space about like say there so that we can get the coal through here without having too much of a trouble. But now that we have a little bit of fertilizer coming in, what we can do is we're currently sitting at 52 months left of food. Neither of these are full anymore. They're halfway full, but we're eating, well, we're consuming a reasonable amount of this stuff. Potatoes, potato. Go ahead and click on this. If we say the last 100 years, we've been slowly cranking up to the point where we're cooking right around 220, 230 potatoes, you know, consumption-wise, but we're not producing the numbers we need to produce. So like right there, we were overproducing. Same thing should be going with the vegetables. Click. Same deal here, same kind of a line. So they're starting to consume way more than we're producing. Now, we're now overproducing or producing more than we were a little bit ago because I do have 3 farms now, but what I can do is you take it to 100%. You take it to 100%. And you take it to 100%. Now, I understand that was 110. 100%. 100%, okay, and 100%. What that's going to do is considerably increase the amount of potatoes and vegetables we're going to make. So we won't see it this time around because we'll have to move to the next thing, but we'll be able to see that that production should considerably increase for just a little bit of power and a little bit of random stuff. Now, again, these are waste products. This is literally a waste product that I want to get rid of, and this is a waste product that we're going to be using for very specific things. So we're kind of dependent on this continuously running now. So we'll have to kind of be careful about making sure that that is continuously running now. All right. Where are we at? We've been building, doing some things, and we've got a couple other stuff happening. I think the next step I want to do here is I want to actually look at this mess and maybe possibly turn half of it on. Because obviously we need copper drastically, desperately at this point, because we're not keeping up with it. And as soon as I get a little bit of a bus built or an idea built, then we should be able to do a few things. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys back where you were, because you're just going to be a royal pain in the tail to mess with later. You go there, and you go there. And I need a connector because it took it out for whatever reason. Go. And then we're going to go away. Now, this is going to be utilizing the new copper process that we have already spoken about, where we're going to get 24 out of 24 instead of the 24 out of 19 and a half. Because we were using water, we're now going to be able to build in various things. So when you start to build stuff like this, what I try to start doing, and I know it's kind of over here, can we see it? I start to try to build things so that they're, you know, contained within each other. So this one has, we don't have the technology yet. Down the line, there's a way to recycle exhaust into various things. So there's a recycling exhaust thingy here. But essentially, you're going to end up with all this dead space anyway. You might as well shove stuff in it. So we have the sulfur production for this will be built in specifically for itself. When the time comes for us to be able to do exhaust scrubbing and whatnot, that will be also built in as part of the system that I'll be able to then just smack down on top of this. But I believe before that happens, we're going to be at least getting the next layer of blast furnaces, which are a pain in the tail because they use a different material, which we'll deal with once the time comes. So this is not copper scrap, that is copper ore. And we need to worry about the elephant in the room. And that elephant is, these are not right. So I need to fix these inputs, because part of the next step is we're going to take we're going to take 3 ingredients to make something. Right now we're only making 2. We only need 2 ingredients. So again, this is built so that we can update it later. What I need to do is I need to take this and flip it and put it back, so that we are taking from the top belt here, which is going to be the copper ore and the scrap copper and the coal. So we're going to need these 3 things. Those are the top 2 belts that will go through there. And then, why did it do that? I mean, I guess I don't care. That's fine. But I have to do that to all of these. Should be good. And then I think the one on the end was a pain in the tail. Let me see. You flip, because I have to turn this around. So we'll just delete that one and that for now. And then I'm just going to connect, say here, you go this. And we'll just go around the corner for now. And then that one into, no, that, there. Control C, catch this one into there. All right, cool. Now we're not going to turn all this on. We're not going to turn off. I mean, I might just do one of them for right now. What are you doing in there, dude? Quit. Okay. Have we caught up on some of the parts here at least? Because I forget which one is really painful. Those are all white. Those are yellow. Those are white. So we should be able to actually build all of this, except for maybe the brand new, well, these brand new tier 2 belts that we're going to finally start using because we unlocked those a while back. I need you then to unpause and get back to work. And I'm going to slowly build through this, and we'll see where we go. Once again, I'm going to build about, like I said, probably about half of it. We're going to do, say, pause button about, well, I don't want to get every belt that I don't need. So there. And then from here to there, that's fine. You can build that one. And then I need to build this belt, that container, that belt, this belt, container, belt, belt, and then the pipes for... Okay, so that pipe's riding up there. That's the sulfur pipe, and then we just let it build some of itself. I suppose, well, we're out here fooling around and we're waiting on things to happen. I want this to... I don't think we have guns on that thing, do we? No, we need to come back, I believe. Unless it can go, like, maybe... there? Let's see if it's got enough fuel to get down there. We'll do a little bit more exploration. I believe we probably need to sit down and start working on things, because I think... Now, we have enough... Yeah, we do have guns and we do have armor. I need to get to upgrading that too. We may do that next time. Make more parts for me, people. Very nice. We've managed to drink through a lot of that ammonia, and we've made a full container full of that wonderful fertilizer. And again, I think we're coming in at like 20... I think it's like a third more. I was going to say like 30% more of what we were normally making for just a little bit of work, at least for those things. I forget exactly. I'd have to look, but I guess we can look. We can look right here. Let's look at our numbers. Our numbers for the past 120 months. We were making an average of 45. We are now making an average of almost 69 or 70. Beautiful. Nice. Location explored. What did you find? We found more garbage. Why don't you just come home, please? He should. All right, nice. I am looking forward to finding a couple of more mines out here. At least one more of these would be great. We'll be fine at this point, but we're making about 90. I don't know how much we're chewing through. Maybe I should look. How much oil are we working through at this point when it's running? Crude oil, we are eating... Well, the last 120 months, we're eating about 100. Yeah, 80 to 100. Yeah, okay. So I may have to upgrade that, I may not. I'm not worried about it right now. We're just still waiting on all these little parts. Alrighty, I suppose while we're waiting, are you back, my friend? Good. Let's put some guns on you. Guns, front. Gimme... Sure. That's just iron. That was one of the last things I needed to worry about with iron. I think once we get the ship upgraded with all the little parts that it needs, we can, we'll be able to do a little bit more fun stuff with that thing here pretty soon, too. Anyhow, come on, guys, finish it up. I know we have a lot of parts to deal with. All right, well, I had to walk away and come back, and we see that things are built back up most of the way to where we need to go. Why don't you do me a huge favor and get so filled with the copper ore that we need, which is going to be over here. That'll at least help a little bit because they don't have to truck it as far. And you need copper scrap. You'll be able to just keep that however. And then we need coal, so import route. I should have just copied. Can I just copy? Where's the copy thingy? You click go. Yeah, and then this will be sand for the later date. I didn't need to build that bottom thing, but I suppose it just, needs to get built anyway. Anyhow, we'll let those all fill up and then fill everything up and turn that on, and then we'll have the beginnings of a bus, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and move it in underneath here. Actually, I might leave it behind it and then have, like, extra fluids if we need extra fluids somewhere along this line. Oh, boy, we have a... slag bucket that needs emptied, guys. Can we get hot on it, please? Whatever. Let's see how this all goes. Stop it. Empty it. Stop it. Empty it. We're not going to be using it much longer. Think what you're doing. I told you to stop. Think what you're doing. Go back over to the other one and fill it up. Thank you. We need a few trucks. Apparently I need to make a few more. Can we make a few more? Sure, why not? Make 4 more. That might help a little bit. As soon as we get some of this other stuff done, we can start having some fun and building the next layer of, well, trucks and materials and parts and fun things and all that wonderful goodness. Stop feeding that thing. All right. That is backwards. Why? Oh, we may have some of those being backwards, huh? Rotate. And rotate. And then those should be pointing the right direction. Sure, so that's why it did this. Okay. Rotate. And you rotate. I'll have to fix those as we go down, but that's okay. Well, I already fixed that one, looks like. Nice. Okay, cool. Okay, so we should now have the parts pieces. Go ahead and turn you on, and go ahead and turn you on. We have 64 people that are fixing to come online, and a whole lot of power that's fixing to run out the door. Probably. Oh, the other thing I need to do, and I completely spaced that one out. Hang on a second. Because this other system was designed to work with the scrubber, there are no smokestacks. Whee! And get so built. And get so built. Okay, now the last of this little bit of fun stuff here is the fact that these are going to be a little off for a little while. So 24 is what we're going to be making as far as molten copper that'll be coming out of these. These each can handle 12. So the thing is, once we do the 12 up here, they'll pour the 12 off, they'll do their thing. These can handle double that, so we're going to run a little bit slow with these, but that's fine. I'm not really concerned about it right now. We could, like I said, have just moved it out of the way, like just built one and then ran conveyors, but it's fine. It'll work. It'll just take 2 cycles before they can make anything, which is fine. I don't care. And you should be empty. Good. We can shut those off. Boop, 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 and pause. Get some people back. Actually, leave that one running. It might have a inventory. No, are you done? Good. So it means we can rip this out and we can start moving things around. Hopefully from now on we don't have to be moving too much stuff. I need to turn some belts around. I can see that already. Rotate. You're rotated. You're rotated. You're rotated. There we go. Copper on the new system. And we'll be able to easily double down on this. I'm just going to have to start being very, very concerned about the power. Electrolyzers use a considerable amount. I don't want to turn all 8 of those on. So we'll just leave this running like this for a little while and see how quickly it takes us to catch up. I may have to add a couple of trucks to this just to get it up and moving. Go help. And then, yeah, we're good. So we did a decent new system for copper, at least for now. I can't wait to get some better blast furnaces and some better technology. And again, we can update these as we need to. I'm building it this direction mainly so, like we said last time, I can mirror this to kind of match it as we go down the road. So I can put the next one of these down like right here. I'm going to have to rotate that air separator, but that's fine. I kind of want to leave them the way they are. That also gives us a little bit of room behind here to craft stuff if we need to. And of course the oil, well, the oil appears to be functioning and doing what it needs to do. And we do appear to be at least burning off some of the materials over here to make power. looking forward to doing a little bit more work on down the line in the next episode. We're going to cut this one out here. Probably what we're going to be doing is I'm going to upgrade the ship in between episodes to get some more guns, because we need some more guns, and we like to, go harass our neighbors when we can. We'll throw on some armor. She'll be able to at least go out and fight, well, these and anybody that we happen to run into, because there's some more stuff we need to find out here. Specifically, more settlements, more mines, all that kind of good stuff. Especially more settlements. I need some more trading options, especially if I decide I want to do some contracts, which I don't even know if we've got any reasonably good contracts at this point. Not really, not yet. So we'll have to play with that as we go. Anyhow, fertilizer, copper, and maybe a little bit better farms. And looky, like I said, we're backed up on food. That means if I wanted to, I can start composting that and adding it to the system and making more. Anyhow, I'll see y'all later. Thanks so much for watching.